morning, class. This is your friend, Dr. Mrs. Mbaka. And the course, of course, is still newspaper management and production. You know the course is in two parts. We have newspaper management and we have magazine management. But for now, we are going to, for this semester, we are focusing on newspaper management and production, MCM 305. So for this particular lecture, we're going to look at 5 components. And the components are within the overview of print media. So we're going to be looking at what the print media is. But before we do that, as is our custom, we need to go back and refreshing our memory as to what communication is, what mass communication is, then before we come down to the print medium. So we are going to be looking at the definition of communication, definition of the print media, newspaper as a print medium, and the attributes of a newspaper. Okay, so let's start from the definition of mass media, or definition of communication. Most times, I discover that students mix up these two words, communication and mass communication. I know if I may ask the class to differentiate between communication and mass communication, I may have so many, differing opinions. Let's start from communication. Communication, okay, let's say mass communication is an offshoot of communication. So communication is wider or broader, if you like, than mass communication. So communication is the process of passing across meaningful messages from one person to another or from a group of persons to another group of persons. Of course, we know we have different levels, from the interpersonal level of communication to the group level, then we can go to the public level, and then we have the mass communication level. Okay, then another definition, because there are so many definitions of communication as there are many scholars. I know one thing I encourage my students to do is to kind of have your own definition of communication. It helps you to have a grip on that particular subject. So the second definition I have here is a process of sharing meaning or experiences between one person and another, or among transceivers. Now, why I chose that word, and you can see I bolded it, is the fact that most times we think that communication is just from a sender to a receiver. It doesn't necessarily, happen that way. Sometimes you find out that a sender within the context of communication can become the receiver, and the receiver can also become the sender. So you have this, cyclic movement of communication. So it's no longer linear, the way Shannon and Weaver defined it. We know that communication is more than that these days. So that's the appropriate word to use. If you are defining or describing the people that are involved in communication, they are called transceivers. So now we go to mass communication, because that's where the particular topic we are looking at, the print media, is situated. Okay, so mass communication is an offshoot, like I said, of communication. So when somebody says, I'm studying mass communication, you are studying just an offshoot of the wider context called communication. So it's a subset of communication. So mass communication, as the name implies, of course, is a machine-mediated communication. Okay, it's a communication that is aimed at reaching a wider audience. It involves a free flow or exchange of communication, of course, ideas, meaning, experiences, from a source to a large heterogeneous audience through the electromagnetic wave or the print media. So there are 2 major categories of mass communication. We have the broadcast. Under broadcast, you have the radio, you have the television, then you have the print, which we have, under it we have newspaper, we have magazine, we have books, we have other smaller versions. We have the leaflets, we have pamphlets, we have banners, and so on and so on. Now, the newspaper as a print medium. Now, I told you that newspaper is just one of the channels of mass communication. So let's look at newspaper. Now, since the course is newspaper management, we want to learn how to manage a newspaper house, what newspaper is, and how to manage a newspaper house till you get to produce a newspaper at the end of the day. Of course, you know the course is a practical course, but you need to know, have a background knowledge of what a newspaper is. Now, the newspaper is, or the print media generally, could be defined as channels of communication which disseminate information to an audience through letters and pictures, printed on paper, okay, using mechanical or technological devices such as printing machines. And we have so many of them. I don't have to go back to when it started, the types that we have in Nigeria, but of course, because you are going to produce a newspaper at the end of the day, so you know the Punch, you know the Guardian, you know so many newspapers around here. And of course, I still emphasize, because definitely you are going to be having what we call the OBJ, the multiple choice question. So you need to know some of these things. When a newspaper the first newspaper was published in Nigeria, which newspaper was that, who published it, and all that. Those are very important. Now, examples of the print media. Now, the three main classes of the print media are books, newspapers, and magazines. Okay, we have other categories that I said before: banners, leaflets, posters, and so on and so forth. Now, let's go to the basic attributes. What differentiates the newspaper from the magazine? A newspaper is periodic. Okay, it contains editorial and advert materials. Of course, you also find out that the television and other channels of mass communication have those, but for newspaper you have them in printed forms. Then it consists of a set of folded sheets of paper which contains written matter, illustrations, and or photographs. Now we have the common types, the tabloid and the broadsheet. For the one we are going to be publishing here is tabloid, A2 size to be precise. The content is intransient. What does that mean? It means that it is in a permanent form. You can buy a newspaper. That's one of the advantages of the newspaper over the electronic media. You can always keep your newspaper and refer to it, okay, from time to time. It provides a platform for in-depth explanation of issues. What does that mean? It means that when you write or you advertise using the print media, you find out that you have more space to express yourself, unlike where you have just 1 minute for an advert on television. Okay? Then it is published periodically. We have a daily newspaper, we have weekly, we have monthly. Most times, monthly versions are very rare. So magazines are the ones that usually come monthly. Then it has diverse content. You have content on education, content on sports, health, even international issues and all that. It is timely and it has deadline. Okay? The size is larger than most print media sizes. And it's not illiteracy friendly. That's another advantage of the newspaper. It doesn't, once you don't know how to read and write, definitely you will not be able to read a newspaper. And in most cases also, it's not cheap when compared to other mass media. So I think we are going to wrap it up here. By next class, we are going to be looking at the management aspect, not because it's newspaper management and production. So we want to look at the management aspect. What are the theories that guide a newspaper publisher, for instance, to be able to establish a newspaper house and be able to run it effectively? So thank you very much for listening. God bless you.